everybody? Welcome into the lab. It is conference championship weekend. We have made it now to the final four teams in the NFL. Unfortunately, not the teams some of us wanted, but man, these matchups are looking good today. Again, welcome in, guys. It's just going to be me today flying solo here. Our co-host of the show, AJ, is currently fulfilling his duty to the country. And when Uncle Sam calls, he's got to go. So he's currently gone dark, nixed all communication lines. We hope to hear from him soon. Maybe be back on the show next weekend. But the way these things go, who really knows? Anyways, guys, welcome in. Big news yesterday broke. Tom Brady retiring, possibly. 7-time Super Bowl champ. No franchise, let alone a player, has this many Super Bowl championships. He'll be forever remembered, obviously, due to how many championships he was able to obtain, as well as, the longevity of his career to play late into his 40s. Just to put into perspective, 7-time Super Bowl champ. Only the Steelers and Patriots franchise have 6. And they're the top 2 franchises in Super Bowl wins. So he's got more Super Bowl wins than any other franchise, let alone player. He's a 5-time Super Bowl MVP, 3-time NFL MVP. For the regular season, pretty impressive there. 15 times Pro Bowl QB and 84,520 yards passing and 624 touchdowns to wrap up his career. I mean, an absolute amazing career that I don't really know if anybody's going to touch for quite some time. Obviously, being a big Rodgers fan, I am not necessarily keen to Tom Brady. But, you got to give the man his due. He's performed at the highest level for, the longest period of time of really anybody. Kudos to him. I'm glad to see him off. I'm glad that's one less quarterback that Aaron Rodgers has to worry about getting through on his way to possibly another Super Bowl in the future. Obviously not this year. Only question I have, though, is like, why did Tom Brady decide yesterday to announce his retirement? And the thing is there are rumors coming out saying that he hasn't necessarily officially made a decision. This was like a leak of some sort. But I don't really know if that's the case. I think he may be saying that because there's a little bit of I know I'm not the only one that shares this thought, but like, what was the purpose of announcing that yesterday, the day before the conference championship? Give these guys that have made it to this point in the season their due, and wait until the actual entire season has concluded before you make these type of announcements. And I know you can say, oh, Big Ben announced it, but Big Ben announced it in the season and just made it official. I don't know why he would, make the announcement at this point. It seems like he's trying to stay relevant on his way out because he's not going out on a good note. He got, beat in a close game. I mean, you can say he had a great comeback for the game, but he didn't pull it off. They didn't win. It seems like he's just more so trying to stay relevant, and not necessarily, like I said, it's just it seems like a kind of a not a very good and respectful time to come out and announce your retirement, as when that you're obviously one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time to play the game, and it's going to take a lot of attention off of those that have been playing their ass off, that have basically gotten this time to where they're in the light. But kudos to him on his retirement. Wish him the best. I just think this should have been an announcement once the Super Bowl is concluded. Once this was everything was said and done for the season, let everybody go. Rodgers hasn't been out there talking about his. He fell back out of the limelight a little bit. Again, more so out of respect, and also because he probably just doesn't like the media pressure of it. Tom Brady, on the other hand, seems to relish being the center of attention. Switching over, though, again, kudos to Tom Brady on his retirement. Hell of a career. you make it hard for me every day with my buddies talking shit because I'm a clear Aaron Rodgers fan on who's the greatest of all time, and we go back and forth. And I know that everybody says there's no argument, and your legacy of Super Bowl champions, or championships is definitely unmatched. So, kudos to Tom Brady. Wish him the best in his retirement. But we're gonna move along because it's conference champion weekend, and that's who we want to focus on. I want to highlight the teams that have came in and basically just fought their way to the top this year and made it to the final four teams. And we'll start because we got to start with the story that everybody has been talking about, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals themselves. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals are looking to make playoff history for their team today. They're already, the first team to get a win since 1990. Nobody before this season had ever sent a text message to another person saying the Bengals have won a playoff game because the ability to text wasn't around for a couple years after their last playoff win. But prior to this year, they had not won a playoff game since 1990. Just for our old heads that may be tuning in, you may remember some of these. The top song of 1990 was Madonna's Vogue. I don't even really remember that song. That was before I was even born. To put that in perspective, I was born in 93. So 1990, man, dude, that's quite some time. I mean, we're 32 years in the making since they've won a playoff game. Right? Is my math right on that? Yep, it was. But prior to this year, they, like I said, not since 1990. One of the top three box office hits of that year was Home Alone. And George H.W. Bush was the current president of the United States the last time they had won a playoff game prior to this year. Now the Bengals are on a roll. Come through wild card round, face the Raiders, no problem. Tennessee Titans getting Derrick Henry back, no problem. Today, on the other hand, they're going to be facing a very elite offense. But let's go back to since that 1990 playoff win that they had, the Bengals would then miss the next 14 straight seasons, and then after that would make 7 of the next 16, and they didn't win a single one of those 7 that they made it. They've never won a conference championship. Today will be history in their franchise if they make it. They'll be the first ever team in franchise history to make it to a Super Bowl. I know a lot of people are pulling for the Bengals, and a lot of people are on the Joe Shiesty or whatever his nickname is that they've got him called right now. A lot of people are on his bandwagon right now. I'm really looking forward to this game today. I really hope to see the Bengals make history, but big but here. We got to remember who's on the other side of the ball. You have one of the league's hottest offense right now. They struggled at the beginning of the season, but they have very much clicked on all cylinders since about midway through. They were a team that we were all counting out at the very beginning of the season because they had started so poorly to start the season. They were not the Chiefs team we were accustomed to seeing at the beginning of this season. However, Chiefs said, no stress, no stress. We'll come along just whenever we need to and just at the right time. And they did that last weekend as well against the Bills with the most clutch 13 seconds in NFL history just this last week. The Chiefs are a team that has not missed the playoffs since 2014. Think about that. 2014. They have made the playoffs every year since 2014. It's 8 years running right now. They are a team who has made it to the big game, the Super Bowl, each of these past 2 seasons, and they won it 2 years ago against the 49ers, who's playing on the other side of the league in the NFC Championship game today. Do we see a possible repeat of that Super Bowl? But first, we've got to determine who's going to win this Bengals-Chiefs game. I personally am thinking the Chiefs will win this, but in my heart of hearts, I want the Bengals to win it. They've got too much history riding on it, And I want to lean towards the Chiefs, like logically, but I think I'm not going to make the logical call on this one today. I think the Bengals are going to find that they're playing for a lot more than I think the Chiefs are. Everybody's playing for a lot right now. You're in the conference championship, a ticket to the Super Bowl, the game that you wanted to play in since you were a little kid in the backyard throwing the football around. Everybody wants to get to the Super Bowl, so I get everybody's got something to play for. But the Bengals are playing to make history this year. They will be the first team in their franchise history to do this. So I think that is going to play a huge factor, one way or the other. Either they're going to get butterflies and they're going to get dog walked. I don't think that's going to be the case, though. And the second option is that they're going to use that to propel them to a new height and overcome this elite team that they're playing that has had so much success in the past 8 years. I don't think they're going to get the butterflies from this and it's going to go the negative way for them. Think about it. Joe Burrow, national champion, played at LSU. Before that, he played at Ohio State. I know he didn't start at Ohio State, but he still played there. But he went to LSU, SEC school, played in the SEC where, those stadiums register on the Richter scale because they're so loud. I mean, the level of competition there, almost all of the starters in the SEC are going to get some shot to play in the NFL at some point. And not only does he play there, but he goes and he wins a national championship. And I believe was also the Heisman in college. He is not new to pressure situations. He came into the Bengals organization and has made it to the conference championship game in his second year. No rookie quarterback that started in year one has done that. None of them. Not within their first 2 seasons. And he did. And let's think about it. He didn't really even play all of last year because he got hurt. Now, before we move on, Jamar Chase, also LSU guy. He's been there. He's played in those moments. Yes, college is not the NFL, but those moments are still similar feelings, right? So I think they're going to be able to cool those nerves. Now, speaking of Joe Burrow's injury, this dude has got to stop getting hit. He got hit 11 times last week against the Titans. His offensive line should be embarrassed for the performance that they're giving. They are not protecting him. I hope he didn't buy them shit for Christmas. I know QBs like to buy their O-line stuff for Christmas. I hope Joe Burrow didn't buy them a damn thing. Said, hey, when you get a pancake, I'll get you a cup. I'll get you something next year. But until then, they're just letting the D-line loose at him. He was running for his life. The fact that he's able to play at the level he can play while his offensive line also is trash. I wouldn't say trash, but allows him to get hit like that is amazing. Now, some of them, not all of them, a vast majority of them are on his O-line. A couple of them are on him. He looked like he was holding that ball a little too much last week. You got to know when to let it fly. You got to know when to get out of the pocket. You got to know when that pressure's coming. You can't just sit there and be a sitting duck. He's got to, do something to help his O-line. He knows they struggle. Why hold it if you know that you're going to struggle? But I think that as long as the O-line can somewhat hold up today, I'm going to lean the Bengals way and say Bengals win a close one on a game-winning field goal from Evan McPherson, who has been nothing but clutch since he missed 40 field goals against Green Bay earlier in the season. Been nothing but clutch since then. Dude has ice coursing through his veins. I think he clips one for the game winner. The Chiefs are going to play very good. It's going to be a good game, though. I think it could go either way, but I'm really, really trying to speak this Bengals win into existence. We're going Bengals by 3. 27-24, we'll say, is the score. Now, on the other side of the league, we've got the 49ers going to play against the Rams. I'm really interested in this game. The secondary market for tickets has been absolutely insane. Um, you can't get your hands on these tickets; they're going so quick. Now, with the secondary market being such a hot item right now, a lot of people are wondering, is this the 49ers fans coming to invade the stadium, basically? And I think it is. You've got a California matchup, and to be honest with you, I think the 49ers fan base is a lot rowdier and a lot more fun, and a lot crazier than that Rams fan base out in LA. I think that LA prima donna fan base out there is not geared for this football intensity. They're going to try, and I'm going to get slammed by them for saying that, but I don't think I don't think they're as hyped for this game as the 49ers are. If you really cared about your city's team, you would not be buying the tickets and then selling them on the secondary market to turn your home field advantage into a home field advantage for the other team. Um, Either way, whoever wins this game definitely has home field advantage going into the Super Bowl. You've either got the Chiefs or you've got the Bengals. Neither one of those places are remotely close to California. You got two California teams playing for a bid to go play at SoFi Stadium. The Rams could be the team that ends up winning a Super Bowl in their own stadium, just like Tom Brady did when he went down to Tampa Bay. I kind of hope to see that happen. Just that, I mean, I want to see the Bengals win it all, but if the Rams can win it all, that takes one thing away from Tom Brady that he's managed to do, which is win something in his win a Super Bowl. That's a big something in his own stadium, his own home stadium. No other quarterback has done that. I mean, it's not that great. It just happened to be, coincidence of where you're playing, I guess. But it would be nice to have somebody else because, man, Tom Brady got too much. We got to take some of those records away from him. People got to start catching him and go from there. But anyways, though, the 49ers are looking to basically turn this into a home game for them from what I'm hearing for in the 49ers fan base. But let's break it down the history of each of these teams playoff-wise. This one right here is, I think, a big game for both fan bases, both franchises. I was mainly just clowning on the Rams fan. I know they're going to pack it out and make it hot in there. I just think it's funny that you've got so many of your so-called fans reselling tickets, and those tickets are being resold to 49ers fans. But shout out to Matt Stafford's wife. She bought, like $10,000 worth of tickets or something like that to give away to Rams fans. So she's doing her part to make sure that home field advantage stays there. So shout out to her. The 49ers, though, they haven't won a Super Bowl since 1994. Now, they have been in the Super Bowl since then. When the Chiefs won 2 years ago, they were the losing team in that Super Bowl. They were the team that ran for 208 yards and only passed 8 times to get past the Packers that year. I'm still not over that one either. But the last time they had won a Super Bowl was 1994. The top song of that year was The Sign by Ace of Base. I've never heard of it, but if you've heard it, shout out. And I hope it's a good song. The two top movies at the box office were The Lion King and Forrest Gump. And Bill Clinton was the president in 1994. That was the last time they've won. So they're looking to get to that Super Bowl game again. Just because it's been so long for the 49ers faithful out there. The Rams on the other side, they're looking to get their first Super Bowl win since 1999. They're hoping to punch their ticket to the big game today. 1999 was the last time they won a Super Bowl, and that was when they were the St. Louis Rams, not the Los Angeles Rams. Don't forget they were once in St. Louis. But what's crazy is before they were in St. Louis, they were also in L.A. So they went from L.A. to St. Louis back to L.A. They've won twice, they've been to the Super Bowl twice in L.A. They've only won, they have yet to win a Super Bowl in L.A. Their only Super Bowl win was 1999 when they were in St. Louis. They went to the Super Bowl in 1979, before they had relocated to St. Louis. Then they would go two more times in 1999, obviously, because that's the year they won. And then they would go again in 2001 and lose. Eventually, they would relocate their team back to LA again, which they already had like a pre-existing fan base, those that stuck with them throughout that time. Sean McVay then took them to the Super Bowl again in 2018 as the LA Rams. And I remember that one. That one was they didn't win, but that was a good year. I believe that was against the Patriots. I want to say the Patriots won that year. They were all talking about McVay though, and how he had some coach that was specific just to keep him from getting on the field when he's calling plays and pulling back when the refs are coming by. It's kind of interesting. But they're looking to punch their ticket. But the last time they won, again, was 1999. The top song of that year was No Scrubs by TLC. And the top movie at that time was Star Wars Phantom Menace. And Bill Clinton, again, was president at that time. So if you really look at all four teams that are in the conference championship today, aside from the Chiefs, they're looking to make some history this year for their team. Other than the Chiefs, nobody has won a Super Bowl since the turn of the century. They've been there, but they've not won it. So, there's a lot on the line for a lot of these teams going into it. I think a lot of teams are going to be playing for something big today, bigger than just a Super Bowl ticket, but more so the history that could come along with it. And I'm looking forward to it. I think this 49ers and Rams game is going to be very close. I don't know who I want to win this one. Part of me, I'm against the 49ers because they beat my Packers in the playoffs in some lucky shit. But I also like their defense. Their defense is scrappy, man. It keeps them in the game. But on the other side, I think I'm leaning more towards the Rams. I just kind of more so like their team. They've been up and down. They've weathered the storm throughout the season. They've added some pieces along the way in Von Miller and in who else did they add? And Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham being the most notable one of those. Shout out to Odell Beckham's dad too. Dad of the year, man. Makes a low light video of Baker Mayfield and basically resurrects his son's career. Gets him in a Super Bowl for the year. Shout out to ODB Senior. You really helped advance that young man to a Super Bowl this year. No, in all seriousness, I'm glad that Odell Beckham's finding his way there. He's way too talented of a receiver to be, caged up like he was. But that's more of a conversation for another day when we can go in on Baker a little bit more then. Right now, we're talking about the guys in the championship. And lastly, though, on that Rams team, and this is why I think I'm more pulling for the Rams on the NFC side, is Matt Stafford, man. Just as a Green Bay fan, just the respect that I got for that guy, man. He played all his years that he played in Detroit, devoted basically his whole career there, and played really well. Got him to some playoffs sometimes. Had some bad seasons sometimes, but it's Detroit, But he was a complete team player there, and he was a team guy there. And he's a great player, and he's a class act, And I want to see that dude be successful now that he's finally got the chance somewhere else, not in our division. So I'm kind of leaning towards him. He's been through a lot in his career. I think this would be a good icing on the cake for him as they go get a Super Bowl win. So they've got to get past this 49ers defense, though, and this 49ers defense is unreal. They held the Green Bay Packers to only 7 points. Their special teams blocked a punt for a touchdown to win a game to get them here. I mean, it's still painful to talk about to this day. But the 49ers, I mean, their defense is something to be said, right? At what point, though, does their defense slip up? They can't continue this slate of perfection, per se. I mean, it's not perfection because they're not giving up 0 points, but, I mean, they're playing lights-out football on the defensive side. I think the Rams are going to pull this off, though. I think the 49ers' luck will run out. I think their defense is going to come up, and they're going to play, and they're going to show up really well, and they may hold them to maybe 10 or 14 points. But I think the Rams, 10 or 14 points is going to be enough to win because the 49ers cannot score on offense. Their offense is abysmal. So as long as they don't have any like mishaps on special teams or any ugly turnovers that lead to touchdowns the other way, I think the Rams are going to win. I don't think Jimmy G has it in him to lead this team to a conference championship victory. If it happens, he's going to do it on the backs of other people on the team. But I think this one's going to be a very low-scoring game just because you got the 49ers defense and the lack of their offense. I'm saying the Rams win this one 17-10. I'll give the 49ers one touchdown because Deebo Samuel is a freak of nature. But those are the picks for today. It's going to be some good football, man. I'm really looking forward to the football that the two games that are going today. It's time to finally kind of wrap up the season. Get on to the Super Bowl. Matt LaFleur is going to be coaching the NFC Pro Bowl, which is pretty cool, as well as the whole coaching staff. Fucking Coach Drayton of special teams coordinator, so deserving of that damn job. But I mean, what do you do, man? It's I would rather us be coaching in a Super Bowl, but it is what it is. I think the games that are going to be good today, y'all make sure to tune into them. I appreciate everybody tuning in. And till next time, peace.